All right, today we're diving deep into the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda to really understand its take on hair health. And we're going to see how its traditional remedies are actually stacking up against modern scientific research.
You know that feeling, right? It's super common and honestly pretty stressful for a lot of us. That little moment of panic when you see way too much hair in the shower drain or wrapped around your brush. But what if the problem isn't just about what you're losing? See, here's the thing. According to both ancient wisdom and modern science, real thinning happens when the hair that is growing back is just weaker. It's fragile, and it can't keep up with your body's natural shedding cycle. So the real key here is to focus on the quality of the new growth, not just trying to stop the hair from falling out.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with how Ayurveda fundamentally sees hair fall. Then, we'll get into its root cause analysis and a whole toolkit of some seriously powerful oils. We'll even look at a deeper therapy before we put all this ancient wisdom to the test against modern clinical trials.
First things first, let's totally reframe how we think about this. In Ayurveda, the state of your hair, well, it's basically a billboard for your internal health. It's not just some surface-level thing. It's a window into how you're doing overall. The classical Ayurvedic term for hair loss is khalitya, and it's not just considered a cosmetic problem. It's actually categorized as a shiroroga, which literally translates to a disease of the head. Right away, that tells you it's seen as a symptom of a much deeper imbalance that you've got to address from the inside out. Now, at the very heart of Ayurveda is this idea of the tridosha, that our bodies are run by three core energies, vata, pitta, and kapha. When it comes to hair, the main player is the pitta dosha. Think of it as the principle of fire and metabolism. So, when your pitta is in overdrive, it's kind of like having too much heat in your system. This can cause inflammation right at the scalp, essentially burning out the hair follicles and making any new growth super weak.
So what throws Pitta out of balance? Well, Ayurveda points to several nidana, or root causes. This can be anything from your genetics and hormonal shifts to not getting the right nutrients or even chronic stress, which messes with another dosha, vata. It's a really holistic view that recognizes, hey, a lot of different things can be contributing to the same problem.
So that's the theory, but how do we turn that into something practical? Let's open up the Ayurvedic oil toolkit. We're going to look at 5 key remedies that are really the cornerstone of this whole approach, and each one works in its own unique way.
We have to start with the superstar of the group, Bringraj. I mean, it's not called the king of hair herbs for nothing. For centuries, this has been the absolute go-to for strengthening hair right from the root.
So how does it actually work? Well, Bringraj is a potent vasodilator. That's just a fancy way of saying it opens up the blood vessels in your scalp, getting more circulation right to the hair's root. And more blood flow means more oxygen and more nutrients getting delivered straight to the follicles. That's what stimulates them to produce stronger, healthier hair.
And listen, this isn't just some old folk remedy. Modern studies are backing this up. One clinical trial found that using Bringraj oil consistently led to more than a 40% drop in hair shedding. That is a huge, measurable difference.
The rest of the toolkit is just as cool. You've got coconut oil, which is unique because its structure is so small it can actually get inside the hair shaft to stop protein loss from within. And then there's rosemary oil, a big favorite in science right now, which is proven to boost circulation and protect your follicles with powerful antioxidants. Each oil really has its own targeted job to do.
But Ayurveda goes way deeper than just putting oils on your head. For those really stubborn issues, it uses purification therapies, or Shodhana Chikitsa, that are designed to give your whole system a deep clean. And one of the most important ones for hair health is a technique called Nasya Karma. The logic behind this is so simple and elegant. It's based on the principle Nasa hi Shirasodwaram, which means the nose is the gateway to the head. The idea is that giving medicine through the nasal passage is the most direct route to nourish and clear out all the channels in your head. The whole thing is basically a 3-stage process. It starts with some prep, a gentle massage and some steam to open everything up. Then comes the main event. A few drops of warm, medicated oil are put into each nostril. It finishes up with a post-treatment massage to help the oil really sink in. And studies have shown this can seriously decrease hair fall and improve density.
Okay, so we have these ancient ideas, these amazing oils, and these intricate therapies. But the million-dollar question is still on the table. How does all this ancient wisdom hold up when you put it under the microscope of modern science?
Let's actually look at the data. In the last few years, researchers have started putting these traditional herbs to the test with really rigorous clinical trials just to see if the effects are real and if they're measurable.
Take this study from the National Institutes of Health. It was a 75-day, double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trial. I mean, that is the absolute gold standard of clinical research. They tested a serum made from ashwagandha, which is another powerhouse Ayurvedic herb known as a rejuvenator.
And the results were, well, they were stunning. Just look at the data here. The group using ashwagandha saw their hair density increase by more than double what the placebo group saw. Their hair growth rate was over 5 times higher, and their hair thickness basically doubled. We're not talking about small changes here. These are massive, statistically significant improvements.
This chart really tells the whole story. It shows the increase in daily hair growth. The ashwagandha group jumped up by almost 22 micrometers a day, while the placebo group barely got past 4. I mean, that is some powerful, concrete evidence that this ancient herb really works. And it's not just ashwagandha. Remember rosemary oil from our toolkit? Well, recent trials have shown that it can actually match the effectiveness of minoxidil, a leading prescription hair loss drug, after just 6 weeks. That suggests these natural compounds can seriously perform on the same level as pharmaceuticals.
Now, we have to be practical here. These Ayurvedic oils and herbs can be amazing for supporting your hair health, but they don't replace a doctor. If you're experiencing really sudden, patchy hair loss, or you have symptoms like itching and redness, it is so important to see a dermatologist to make sure there isn't an underlying condition that needs medical treatment.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Ayurveda gives us this incredible, holistic way of looking at hair health from the inside out by targeting root causes like inflammation. And what's so exciting is that we're now seeing hard, modern science start to prove that these ancient remedies really are effective.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Maybe the best approach to hair wellness isn't choosing between the old ways and the new ways, but perfectly blending them together, combining that ancient, time-tested wisdom with the proof and precision of modern science.